Got a little surprise for you. So this is the 6.0 that I had in the car that I thought I was going to build, along with the transmission, ECM, and other stuff. Then I got a call from my buddy who blew up his motor in his truck, and he had been building this engine. He was building a Monte Carlo, so very similar, both G-bodies, with a 6-liter LQ4. He had just sent this motor out, had a bunch of machine work done to it, Wiseco pistons, forged rods, roller, timing system, whole bunch of work, all built internals, ready to roll. And he needed cash quick because he blew up his truck. So I said, yeah, you know what? I will buy that from you. So I just threw new valve covers on it, ignition, I got an intake on the way, and a few other bits and pieces. We're gonna do an external electric water pump. So I got all the pieces coming for that, but this thing it just saved me a ton of time and a ton of work, and actually probably some money too, because I know I paid less for this than he has into it. It's got ATI dampener on the front. On the back, it's got the TCI flex plate that is certified, SFI rated. I did end up stripping the paint off the block. I just finished repainting it. Did black triple coat PPG with a couple of clears, a couple of coats of clear on it too, so that really cleaned up nice, and just polished the heads up a little bit. Heads are factory LQ4 heads. They just had some machining work done, valves, a valve job, so a lot of money went into the details here. This thing is ready to go and make some real big horsepower. So I just fabricated or fabricobbled up some solid mounts for this guy, and I am about ready to marry it to the chassis. So the plan here was do solid mounts, and then I also have engine plates, which I think I might just do a back engine plate. I don't know if I'm going to do the front one. Between that engine plate and these solid mounts, we should be pretty good. You have to be careful on the LSs once you get above about 1,000 horse. It can, if you're just running these, it can actually crack the block from the twist that it can produce. So I think that with the engine plate on the back, I should be okay, but I may end up doing a front plate too. Now all I gotta do is break out the $40,000 engine crane. The crash bars mounted in here, and really all of the tabs in place needed to put the front end back on the car. And it's all pretty structurally sound. It's actually, I jiggle it, but it's still a little tacky here on the paint. But we got our front fender mount, everything bolts right through in factory spots. Same thing for the nose here, nice supports. This bar just kind of helps keep the nose straight in the front, and will also give me a mount for the intercooler, which will sit in here. These are the top of the radiator mounts, and the rest of it mounts right down here at the bumper mount. So really happy with how it came out. It's kind of cool looking. Oh, and of course the best part is this weighs like nothing. That might be 5 pounds of material. It's really light gauge, but because of all the triangulation in there, it's pretty pretty stout. Okay, doing some work on the radiator now. So this has a regular, push-on fittings. I don't want to use those. Everything in the car is AN fittings anyway, so grabbed a couple of these little guys. These are just weldable bungs here.
TV for my bunghole. I need TV for my bunghole. TV for my bunghole. I need TV for my bunghole. TV for...
And they actually line up really nice. So we're going to crudely weld these in place. And that way I've got an easy, quick disconnect, but it's a lot more secure than a hose clamp would be, especially under pressure. So from a safety standpoint, I don't want to risk, maybe we start to blow a head gasket, we pressurize the coolant system, and you blow a hose clamp off one of these guys. Now you've got a whole bunch of water in front of your tires while you're going down drag strip. That's not a good place to be. So all my overflows, all my breathers, everything will be ducted out of the back of the car. So in case something goes wrong, you're going to get water or maybe oil on the track, but it's not going to be in front of your tires. So that's kind of key, and give the track a chance to clean that up before the next guy rolls. So the LS has a cooling system that is not normal for like a normal small block or big block type setup. And this is even more not normal. Normally what would go here would be a regular old school kind of cast water pump that's belt driven. To save weight, I've eliminated that, and I put on these billet little adapters that give us some fittings here that we can then plumb ourselves. I also put in a steam port kit, which is up here at all four corners, and that allows you to make sure that the heads don't have any air trapped in them, since there's no thermostat up here, up high, which is normally where all that air would burp out. You really do need a steam kit on these guys. We're going to run an electric water pump instead of a belt driven, so it helps the engine rev quicker. Also allows you to run cool down, so you can shut the engine off, keep the electric fans and the fluid running through this. Keeps it nice and cool. Now we got to plumb it though. So the way the flow works is these two get joined together. That is the cool water in. It runs through the block, then through the heads. Coming out of the heads is your hot water. So we're going to tie these two guys together into the top side of the radiator. We're also going to tie the steam port line into this junction here. I got a pretty cool little Y that does that for us. Water pump will come off of this side right into the lower output of the radiator, and then we'll just have to put a expansion tank somewhere around here, and that's it for the cooling system. So in the next video, we will wrap up this cooling system, get the electric water pump installed and all of that. Probably dive into the exhaust headers and start figuring out some of the turbo pieces and parts we're going to need to make all that go together, including the turbo itself. Just really excited that getting this engine was like the kick in the ass I needed to get back into building this car, and it is really fun. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of problem solving, and if it all works someday, that'll be a miracle, but I'm having fun building it anyway. So as always, everybody, appreciate you watching. Any questions, comments, concerns, and or criticisms, throw them down in the comment section below me. Otherwise, everybody have a great day.